Hi there, hope you're having a pleasant day wherever you may be. You know, I'm at a place that makes me feel like I should be either in Ferngully or Avatar or maybe even a Disney movie. That's right, I'm at the Tree of Life in Olympic National Park. As for visiting the Tree of Life, it is along the coast in Olympic National Park. It's about 70 or so miles north of Aberdeen and probably about 20 or so miles south of Forks, for some reference, and about 3.5 hours from Seattle. So, what exactly is the Tree of Life? Well, for starters, it actually doesn't have an official name. It goes by a couple of names, and the Tree of Life is kind of the one I've seen circulated the most. One of the other ones is Kale Lock Tree. And what it is it's a type of spruce tree, Sitka spruce to be specific, that was growing on the cliff face, and a small channel began to erode the rock from underneath it. And over the years, it's gained notoriety because the roots just keep on holding on. They just keep clinging on for dear life. And it's slowly but surely having the ground taken away out from underneath it. But it perseveres. It's still alive, it's still growing, and it still hasn't toppled over. It is very much akin to Ian Malcolm's Life uh, Finds a Way. Now, unfortunately, I'm not exactly sure how long this process has been going on, but from a couple of things I read online, there's people that kind of, make their way out here every year or two just to see how the tree is and see if it's fallen down yet or not, because honestly, it looks like it could be any minute now, even though it probably won't be. As for Kalilak, that is a local indigenous term from the Quinault people that roughly translates to a good place to land. Olympic National Park, or at least the Olympic Peninsula in general, is home to upwards of 8 indigenous tribes that have various reservations within the area. Now, like I said, the Kalilok tree is located in Olympic National Park, and this is one of those parks that doesn't have like one defining feature. It's not like going to the Grand Canyon or Crater Lake where it's like, it's in the name, where this one is actually known more for its diversity, and that is in a range of things, including the environments and the biodiversity and things like that. What's amazing about this place is that there's very distinct ecosystems that you can explore within the confines of the park. The mountains are another ecosystem found here in the park. It is believed that the Olympic mountain range was formed when millions of years ago vents opened up underwater, releasing a lot of lava and laying down a layer of basaltic rock. Then, through geologic forces, that rock was forced upward, creating the mountain range. Then, glaciation over the eons uh, carved out a lot of these valleys and the nearby Puget Sound, separating the peninsula from the rest of the mainland. You get beautiful views not only of the mountains inland, but here at Hurricane Ridge on a clear day, you can see the Strait of Juan de Fuca, Vancouver Island, and mountains over in British Columbia. In addition to the mountains themselves and the glaciers, you're also treated to the flora and fauna that you would typically find in a mountain setting, this sort of alpine environment. Matter of fact, it even kind of feels like you're at a ski lodge minus the skiing. What's also kind of nice is there are a few trails that are kind of lengthy that I believe you can get from this region, but from the parking lot, which you don't even need to get out of your car to see a beautiful view, but if you decide to, there's a lot of short paved trails that give you some great views. So you don't even have to do a whole lot to be treated to some pretty remarkable scenery. Forests are another major type of ecosystem found here in the park, and with precipitation ranging anywhere from 40 to 240 inches. Keep in mind, LA gets about 13 or 14 a year. Um, there are different varieties of forests even within that broad category as well. The Olympic Peninsula creates a sort of rain shadow effect. So the western forests are the ones that receive the 240 inches per year, and they're actually classified. Some of them are classified as temperate rainforests. It's pretty amazing just to walk around and know that you're in a rainforest in the continental United States. That's pretty awesome. Now, there are two visitor centers in the park related to rainforests. I'm at the Ho Visitor Center. And that is also named after one of the indigenous tribes of the area. And it's really neat to just walk around, do some of the little shorter trails that are near the visitor center. They're not very difficult, but you just see how lush and green everything is, and all the ferns and the moss and all sorts of things just growing everywhere. It's pretty impressive. And even though it's not terribly warm today, you can definitely sense the humidity in the air with so much moisture just kind of around. You can definitely feel it. Something that I found interesting was that even the larger trees that are here, they don't have very deep root systems because there's so much moisture in the soil that they don't have to go very deep to get what they need. So they're sort of prone to falling over, a little more so than normal trees. But what's interesting is that when they do, they end up as they decompose and things, they end up becoming sources and little sort of mini ecosystems of their own. For instance, look here. There's trees growing out of this tree. How cool is that? Here's another example of one of those down trees providing life. If you look at all these trees, they're kind of lined up in a row. That's because they're using what they call the nurse tree, the one that fell. They're using that and as nourishment. So they all kind of started growing along that line, and they're all kind of right next to each other. That's pretty cool. It says that even if the nurse tree had rotted away, because they're all in a line, you could tell that that's how they grew. Pretty neat. So this here is a fallen Sitka spruce. Now, this is the same type of tree as the tree of life. And look how big they're capable of being, as opposed to when they're hanging by a cliff trying to cling to life. And then, of course, there's the coast where we're at right now. The coast is pretty much defined by the tides. The tides really have a huge factor on the ecosystems here, the lives. Low tide, there's some amazing tide pools that you can explore. And then there's the flora and fauna that live around here. It's just beautiful area. There's miles and miles of coast that has been designated part of the park here. Now, unfortunately, I'm here at low tide, and this beach isn't particularly great for tide pools. It's pretty much all sandy. I've definitely seen some discarded shells and things like that, but there's not a lot of nooks and crannies for living creatures to be hiding in. I did see, I think it was a jellyfish though, so that was kind of neat. Just up the road is Beach 4, and there's a great trail that goes down to the beach, and there's some rocky outcroppings that are great to visit at low tide to check out the tide pools. This is awesome. I've seen some starfish and some green things that there's a lot of. And just, fun to explore the rocks again at low tide. Check the chart. Just be careful as you're climbing over rocks. A lot of them are covered in living creatures. That's their home, so I was making sure to only step on bare rock. Not to mention, the views on the coast here are incredible. This is beautiful stuff. And another great thing to do is you can come check out the Kalilok tree. How awesome is that? As far as visiting the Tree of Life, it's pretty simple actually. It's in Olympic National Park, like I said. And if you drive to the Kalilok campground, which is about 70 or so miles north of Aberdeen and about 20 or so miles south of Forks, there is a day-use picnic area that you can park at. There's a lot of spaces. And it's just a short walk down to the beach and just a little longer walk to the tree itself. Honestly, from my car, it probably took me 3 or 4 minutes to get here. It's really simple. Now, this cavity that's underneath the roots and where the soil is affectionately known as the tree root cave. I wonder where they got the name. And when you're visiting, be mindful. Don't go climbing on the roots or doing anything to disturb it. I mean, gravity's already taken its toll on it. It's gonna fall eventually. It doesn't need any help. So just come here, enjoy it, enjoy the sort of magic of it all. Well, that does it for this one. Thanks for joining me on this trip to the Kalilok tree in Olympic National Park. Hopefully you found it interesting. Hopefully you found it informative. And maybe it encourages you to come check out Olympic National Park overall. The tree is cool, but the park is awesome. Now, I know this is not an exhaustive list of places to see or things to do, but hopefully it's enough of a sample to get you to come visit. So with that said, I guess I'll see you on the next one. at that. I've never found one in my life. First time. Huh. That's pretty cool. I mean, oh. I wonder if this is the other half. No. So I found my first two.